there's a lot of factors, turnovers, injuries. There's a lot of factors that go in that every game is. I mean, it's its own. It's different, man. It's different in college. It's different in high school. It's different in that respect. And I think it's good for the fans, And I think what's going to happen too with all the OTAs that we had this year. We were with our players for 10 weeks in the off season. The football. The caliber of football is going to be played early in the season is going to be amazing.
Yeah, because of the lockout last year, it kind of was a little bit slow. So this year, you're looking for. I mean, I'm looking at the Eagles' schedule right now. Week 4, 5, and 6 look pretty tough. You play the Giants, and then you go to Heinz Field to play the Steelers, and then you have the Lions. I mean, that's a pretty. I mean, the NFL. I mean, look at those 3 games in a row, and you're like, man, those are some tough teams to coordinate a defense against.
Well, you know what? Really, I just know one game on the schedule right now. That's the Cleveland Browns.
That's right. Yeah. So you're not even looking ahead. You're looking right there at week 1, and you never know what you get from the Browns. A lot of times in that first game of the season, that's when you get the best shot from the Browns. To be honest, right?
Yeah. So and really that's the way you have to look at it. You don't go down the schedule. You kind of just, you work week to week to week, game by game, and you talk about when you talk to your players, you talk about one play at a time.
Yeah. Well, I could see that because, if you did, your eyes would get big like, oh, my gosh, we got Roethlisberger. We've got Eli Manning coming up. It kind of, to look forward, you do have to just take it day by day, especially in the NFL where, like you said, it's any Sunday, the Browns can beat the Eagles, right?
On any given Sunday.
That's right.
Coach, you were down here and had a chance to work with some of the kids in Harlingen. What did you think of the local football talent and how it's progressed over the years?
Oh, I think they do a good job. Really great job. Not just at Harlingen, but at the schools down there. With the way they train the kids. The way they prepare the kids. The way they, the tenacity that those kids play. The heart that they play with. You guys know. You guys are down there. I played ball down there. I hope everybody understands that I'm from Port Isabel. I was born in Brownsville, but just because that was where the hospital was. But I've only been in Port Isabel, Kingsville, and Philadelphia. Those are the only 3 places I ever lived at.
Wow.
So I think that's what helps me. I was talking to somebody down there. Is the way I got trained at Port Isabel, the way Coach Real and the coaches that were down there trained me. That helps me not just when I was a player, but as a coach. Understanding the ups and downs of different weeks,
Installing that work ethic in you.
That's right. I think everybody always talks about self-confidence. When you find out what kind of self-confidence you have is when things ain't going right, and you got to get in front of your guys and come across as you got all the answers to all the problems. That's when you find out what kind of confidence and what kind of person you are.
Right. Coach, I know that the last time that you and I spoke when you were here in the Valley, you were almost doing a coaches clinic with specific coaches. How often do the Valley coaches reach out to you if they can and say, hey, listen, I'd like to pick your brain, or we'd like to have you come in as a guest speaker, and, when your schedule's available? How often does that happen?
Well, it happens every once in a while. Coach Lerma, probably doesn't happen it's hard, and I think sometimes, I have a lot of good friends down there, and, they always feel like, well, Juan's real busy and stuff. So, when I go home, I like to really try to get a hold of all the guys. I got to see quite a few guys. What happens up there, it's a motivation when I go home and see some of the guys, and, it's like, I know this sounds, but it's like I'm representing for the Valley. I'm representing for my friends. I'm representing for the people down there. Whenever they ask me, I always tell them where I'm from. I always tell them what helps me fight through tough situations.
Right. And it was, recently profiled. The NFL did a good little video montage on you, and they put together about the success that you've had as not only as a player but as a coach as well.
Yeah, I think that was, it's been nice. I've heard a lot of people tell me that they played that in front of kids, and I think just important for the Valley. Just that, you know what, anything is possible. You know, you got to work your butt off. You got to outwork people. You got to believe in yourself. You know, you got to be able to get over those tough bumps, you know, but anything is possible.
And that's the key point to remember, that, you know, whatever you go through in life, as long as you're resilient and you work hard at it, you can overcome it.
That's right. That's right. And you see people like, you know, like people that you bring on, and you know, we're no different. You know, my first language was Spanish. My parents came from Mexico, you know, and so, you know, I wasn't somebody that they gave something to, you know, and you say, well, you know what, I want to be able to do this, and people look at you and say, no way, you know. When I was at Texas A&I, you know, after I started studying from those guys, I said, now, you know what, gosh, man, I can do this, you know, I can coach in the NFL because I can teach my players here at A&I what they're teaching over there. I'll get them to the NFL. We used to talk about it all the time with, you know, I had Jermaine Mayberry, Earl Dawson, and George Diaz, and Kevin Dawkins that all played in the NFL at least 6 years. I think George played 5. The other guys played 8 or 9 years in the NFL, and we used to talk about, you know, they're going to go to the NFL, and I used to say, you know, I'm going to go to the NFL, and people used to look at it like we were crazy, you know, but it's because you believe, because you had the knowledge and you had the confidence.
But there's something about A&I that you guys have produced some great football players. Darryl Green comes to top of mind with all the times that he spent with the Redskins, and then there was the little punt returner that was with the Browns, and I can't remember his name off the top of my head. Well, he was with the Browns. He was with the Bears. Johnny
Bailey.
Oh, yeah, Johnny Bailey.
Johnny
Yeah.
Bailey.
Yeah.
You know, and you wouldn't think that little old Texas A&I in Kingsville, Texas, would be producing NFL players and NFL personnel the way that they have.
Well, you know, nowadays, you know, that you know, the NFL does a good job of going out and finding talent, but, you know, you get a lot of good players from your smaller schools, you know. I mean, some players are overlooked. Sometimes they develop, you know, later, but, you know, it's unbelievable.
I think the key point you brought up there is because they've had that experience, the 4 years on the field compared to some of these kids that have, you know, 2 great seasons at Alabama or 2 great seasons at LSU, and they leave for the NFL early. You've got these kids that spend 4 seasons at A&I, and yes, they haven't played on the big stages like Alabama and LSU have, but they get to the NFL and they're a little bit more prepared because they've got that much more field training, on-the-job training, shall we say.
Right.
All right, Coach. Well, listen, we appreciate the time. We look forward to having you on. I'll check with Mr. Canales, and if I can, I will text him. I will text you his number. How does that sound?
All right, this sounds good, man. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Coach, for your time, and best of luck. We look forward to seeing you, and I'm rooting for you, except on the day that you play Pittsburgh.
All right, that sounds good, man.
And I'm not an Eagles fan at all. Sorry, just kidding.
Thanks.
That's all right.
Thanks, Coach.
Hey, as long as the people in the Valley know that I'm trying to represent and do a good job for them, that's the important thing, right?
That's what we care about,
and
for sure.
And you're representing us very well. Estamos bien orgullosos de lo que estás haciendo.
Gracias.
Thanks, Coach. We appreciate you. Juan Castillo, he is the defensive coordinator of the Philadelphia Eagles.